Hi everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to talk about routing, and routing is such an important part of your Cisco CCNA exam, and this is a fundamental topic to networking. So you must need to know what routing is and how does it work. So in this video we are just going to cover the fundamentals. We are not going to advanced routing, OSPF, BGP and all. We're just going to cover what routing is and a little bit of basics of routing. Then from the next video we will try to cover like the proper routing with OSPF and all of that stuff. So let's begin this video. Till now we have done switching. So in switching was used to happen that we have a switch and we have suppose 4 different devices. This switch will have a kind of CAM table or MAC address table, and that table, suppose this PC is sending data to this PC, so that based on that MAC address table on the switch, switch will send the data to the destination. But routing is a kind of different. Here we use MAC addresses, so all of the devices which are in the network are in the same network. And then studied about VLANs. So in VLANs, what VLAN does it basically divides 2 different networks. So this will be VLAN number 1, this will be VLAN number 2. Both of these cannot communicate with one another because they are in the different networks, right? So 2 different network cannot connect to each other. Suppose this is network number 1, this is network number 2. These 2 different networks cannot communicate with each other. They need a router to do that. The symbol of router is a circle, then a cross. So this will be your symbol of any router. Now suppose I will take a practical example here. So we did subnetting. We divided a simple network to 2 or 3 or 4 different networks. So suppose I have 2 completely different network. One is 192.168.10.0, one is 192.168.20.0, and then we want to connect these 2 different networks. So we will need a router in between that. So this will be a router and this will connect 2 different networks. Now these interfaces on the router will be default gateways for these network to send their packets inside a PC. Inside a PC we configure IP address, we configure subnet mask, and we configure default gateway. From IP address and subnet mask, the PC calculates that, okay, suppose I want to send a traffic to 192.168.10.50. So this 10.50 relies in this network only. So we do not use a default gateway. We will try to do ARP and we will try to find the MAC address for that PC in the same network. But suppose a data comes, not this 20.0, suppose anything else comes, 192.168.50.20. So suppose this is an IP address 192.168.50.20. Now we want to send data to this network. So what will happen that PC will check IP subnet mask, it is not in that network, so it will use default gateway to send all those packets. So default gateway will be the interface on the router. This interface will be your default gateway which you will set on your PC. And we studied subnet. So in subnet, suppose this network has /24 subnet mask. So the IP ranges will be 192.168.10.0 till 10.255. So the default gateway IP address can be first IP of the network or the last IP of the network, last usable IP. So either it can be 10.1 or it can be 10.254. The address of the default gateway. It can be either first one or it can be either last one. This is the funda for our default gateway and subnet mask and how our PC sends data to the router. When the packet goes to the router, in the router we will have a route table, and this route table will decide that where to throw that packet. In that route table, suppose there will be an entry. Suppose this is interface number FA0/0, this is interface number FA0/1. Suppose data is being sent from 10.0, it will go to the default gateway of router FA00. In the route table, what will happen that suppose the destination is 192.168.20.128. Suppose this is a destination and this is the source and this is the destination. So it will reach to the router. In route table there will be a route called 192.168.20.0 20.0/24. This belongs to FA0/1. So in the route table there will be an entry like this, that this is a route to on FA0/1. From here it will know that okay, I have to forward this data to FA0/1. So it will forward that packet to this interface. So this is how your routing works. Now suppose we will make it a little bit complicated here. Now I have added network number 1, network number 2 and network number 3. So suppose there are different PCs, like this PC1 has 10.10, this PC has 20.11, this PC has 30.12, this IP address, and 192.168 is the same. So now in this route table what will happen that there will be different kind of routes. First kind of route is a local route. A local route will be like 192.168.10.0/24. This will be a local route because it is directly connected to this router. So whatever networks are directly connected with a router, it all will come under a local route. So you don't need to advertise these routes to the router. Router will automatically know that okay, 192.168.10.0, 20.0 and 30.0 are connected to me. So those will be their local route. Now suppose I have another router here, and in this router I have 10.10.10.11, this IP address. Now this router number 1 and this is router number 2. Now if you see this router number 1, this only has local routes. It doesn't know anything about 10.10.10.11. So we need to advertise routes of this router 2 to router 1, or routes of router 1 to router 2. So we need to advertise these routes to each other, so that router 1 will know okay, when the request come for 10.10.10.11, it should go through this interface, this one, right? So for this we use routing algorithms. If we have suppose 100, 200, 300 number of routers and we want to establish a route between all of those, we will use routing protocols. So routing protocols generally are RIP, we have OSPF, we have BGP, we have ISIS. So these are the main routing protocols: RIP, OSPF, BGP, ISIS. So in this exam you will be asked on RIP and OSPF, and we will cover these. I will cover these in a separate video, RIP and OSPF. And there are also static routes, static and dynamic. All those routing protocol which advertise all the things automatically will come under dynamic routing protocols. Static routing protocol, however, we need to go ahead in the router and we need to give a route that okay, 10.10.1.0/24 is in FA4/0, like this. We need to go into router and we need to advertise this thing to the router manually. That is called static routing. But whenever we use a routing algorithm, RIP, OSPF, those come under dynamic routing, which means it happens automatically. We just enable RIP in this, we will enable RIP in this, we will enable RIP in this, and other router, and all of these routers will know all the interfaces and all the networks they are connected to. So this router number 1 knows that what are the networks connected to router number 6. We don't need to advertise. In case of static, what we need to do that, we need to go to router 1, we need to advertise that okay, like if you want to communicate to suppose 20.30.50.1, so you need to go via this way, you need to go via this way. So static routing, I will also cover this in a separate video, because we have static, we have floating, so there is a lot of things and a lot of scenarios there. But in this video I just wanted to give you a little bit overview on routing, like what is routing and how does it work basically. This example, these are local routes, so we don't need to advertise these, and these will automatically be advertised inside a routing table. So in routing table we also need to understand how this routing table works. So for that I will just open the Cisco packet tracer with the same formation. So this is router 0. There are two different PCs in two different networks, 10.0 and 20.0. Now if I go to this router, so I will have a command. First I will enable and configuration terminal. Okay, not configuration terminal, exit from this. So in this we have a command called show IP route. So show IP route will actually show you the routing table. So this is the output of show IP route, and this is the routing table. This is the routing table. Now C means connected. Connected means locally connected route, which you don't need to advertise. Like these 10.0, 20.0, they are locally connected to this router. So we don't need to advertise this 10.0 or 20.0. Now there is a static routing, there is IGRP, there is RIP, mobile, BGP, EIGRP, OSPF. So different kind of routing protocol, and this first letter of your entry is, this will show you that how this route was advertised. So C means connected. Connected means this is a local route, and you can also see this 192.168.10/24 is directly connected on fast Ethernet 0/0. 192.168.20.0 is directly connected at fast Ethernet 1/0. Now there is also a thing called gateway of last resort. Gateway of last resort means if no route in this route table matches, suppose I wanted to send an entry to 10.20.50.0. now it will come, it will see that okay, 10.50.0, it's not 10.50, it's not 10.50. so it will go to this gateway of last resort, which is a default route. Here you can see the default route. So I have configured default route 0000/0 directly connected to fast Ethernet 0/0. means all the other packets which are not going to 10.0 or 20.0 will go to fast Ethernet 0/0, which means this one, this PC. Yeah, this is the basic thing about routing, and these are the routing codes. So sometimes in the exam, like they can ask, or you just need to understand these routing codes. Like C is for connected, S is for static, S star is for default, means static. I have configured it statically, and star means default route. So default static you can say. Then for OSPF there is O. For RIP there is R. So that's it for this video. We just understood what routing is and how it basically works, and how to interpret the routing table and all the codes. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one with static route and floating routes. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.